The UAE continues to be one of the most sought-after destinations in the world for expats choosing to work and settle here. A new expat study, which focuses on high net worth people, looks at the motivations for relocating to the UAE. Amer Malik is head of Middle East International at Lombard Odier Group, and he joins us here in the studio this evening to tell us more. So, what turned out being the key takeaway from your latest study?
So, Greg, firstly, thank you for having me over and giving me the opportunity to share the results of a very important topic, which is on everybody's minds these days, that the influx of the expats that we are seeing into the country and the UAE, what's driving them, what are the challenges that they face, and what are the key concerns. So it was a much broader study, but if I were to summarize it in three high-level takeaways, number one is what we found out was 40% of the respondents they cited the quality of life and the investment opportunities in the country as the key trigger behind them deciding to relocate to the UAE, and that's across the country. Number two, which was quite surprising, was that only 27% of them said that they have taken any tax advice or had their house in order with respect to their global income and their global assets. So that's only a third. 2/3 had not done so. And lastly, which is even more alarming, is 60% plus have not taken any decision or taken any advice to structure their assets globally for succession planning. And one other point that if you allow me to add here, which connects it really well, is because over 60% of the respondents said that they were relocating to the UAE for a 2 to 5 year period. And we know through experience that you come to the UAE, you end up staying longer. That's meant a lot of the case. In my case, that was true as well. Mm-hmm. So when you're underestimating the time that you're going to spend in the country, obviously what you're going to say is, I'm going to go back to where I came from, and then I will address all these issues.
So how many of the expats are now starting businesses here in the UAE?
That's a great question. Within that, we do actually have certain different thresholds, and within the 18 to 34, I think the middle bracket is where we are seeing the most amount of interest of people actually coming in, the young talent coming into the country and setting up businesses. So about 25% of them cited it's the legal and the regulatory framework, which is very attractive, and then another 29% cited that it is the other opportunities that actually that the framework of the in line with the D33 vision that allows them to come in and ease of doing business and setting up companies, especially in the technology field, that's actually attracting them.
So what about, are they prepared for taxation issues or planning further on down the line? You just said then that they aren't.
So there are two types of high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals. One, who are number one selling their businesses that they've had for many long time in other countries, and they have a liquidity event and they come here. The second one is intergenerational wealth transfer. So there is $1 trillion of intergenerational wealth transfer happening in the Middle East alone over the next 7 years. And then lastly are the people who are actually the new generation that is actually becoming rich through setting up their companies, and they're actually either doing extremely well or selling them. And each one of them have actually dealt with their taxation matters a bit differently. But the ones who are actually in the UAE and generating their wealth locally, they're, I think, the safest out of the lot because of the legal and the tax framework. However, the ones who are coming in, they need to be more careful and get their house in order.
How can people have a look at the report?
It is actually available on the Lombard Odier website. And it is also available, actually a lot of the media houses, they covered it as well over the last few days. And if they Google it, the Lombard Odier UAE Expat Report, they should be able to get it and have a link to our website as well.
All right, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in tonight. Amer Malik, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.